Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Thanksgiving Day Classic. High school football at its best as Quincy takes on North Quincy this morning in a rivalry that dates back 50 years. This is the 51st game of its kind. I'm Roger Holman, along with Jim Rendell and Kevin Cahill. We'll be bringing you all the play-by-play actions as Quincy Cable Systems and its employees wish you and your family a very happy Thanksgiving Day. Both bands just leaving the field. We've had the playing of our national anthem, and we're just moments away from the coin toss and the start of this 1983 Thanksgiving Day Classic. While we have this opportunity, let's bring in Jim Rendell. And Jim, your comments on this morning's contest.
Well, first of all, I'd like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. We got a good game going ahead today, I'm sure. We're going to look forward to a powerful North Quincy offense today. Well balanced, going against a Quincy defense which is up for the game. I was just in the Quincy locker room. The players are ready. The tension, you can cut with a knife. The boys are all excited, ready to go. North Quincy's offense, which again is well balanced, plans on hitting all angles of the game. They anticipate throwing long, throwing short, running to the left, running to the right. They feel that they can move the ball against Quincy.
As we talked earlier, Jim, Quincy has already gotten the first break of the game by the rain holding off thus far. Coach Maver feared the rain because North Quincy is a much larger ball club, and it would be even more difficult for Quincy to move their players in order to get Notarangelo free and Billy Shaughnessy rolling out. So the rain is held off, at least for the start of this game, and that helps Quincy.
Yeah, Roger, like you were saying, North Quincy averages about 21 pounds a man heavier than the Quincy team does. Quincy's well aware of this, and their offense is going to be designed predominantly to go to their quick backs, their quick sprint outs, try and break a couple of quick plays. They're giving up 21 pounds per player on the average.
All right, Quincy has won the toss, and their captains, Mike Notarangelo, Chris Shaughnessy, Rich Reddy, and Chris Connor, have elected to receive the ball. They'll defend the goal to our left. The captains for North Quincy, Mike Gill, Jim McNamara, and Quincy will be kicking off right to left in front of us. And let's run down, while we have this opportunity, the starting offense for the Quincy Presidents.
Tucker, left tight end, number 26.
Vezes, right tight end, number 13.
Number 17, split end.
Mark Walsh, number 65, offensive tackle.
Eric Charlie, number 76, left tackle.
Ozzy, number 56, tackle.
Brady, number 69, offensive line.
Pat Calabro, number 50, offensive guard.
And Ellie, number 70, offensive guard.
Steve Perfetio, number 66, center.
Mike Notarangelo, number 20, tailback.
Honestly, number 32, flanker.
Colin, number 43, fullback.
Number 14, quarterback.
All right, North Quincy getting ready to tee off the ball. Mike Berry will be teeing off for North Quincy. We'll get the North Quincy defensive lineup for you, the first opportunity we have. Back deep for the Presidents is Chris Shaughnessy in the middle. Flanked to his left is Mike Notarangelo, and to the right, Darren Tucker. And 1983 Thanksgiving Day Classic is just moments away. Berry kicks the ball, end over end kick coming straight down the field. And Tucker picks it up on about the 22-yard line, cuts it wide to the left side, got a couple of blocks but can't turn the corner. As Danny Baker brings him down, Quincy will have the ball about the 32-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Presidents.
Nice tackle in, Roger, by Danny Baker. Quincy had an excellent return on, and Tucker had a chance to go that all the way if he could have gotten by Baker.
All right, let's... Billy Shaughnessy at quarterback. Fullback is Joe Cullen. Mike Notarangelo at halfback. Slot is Chris Shaughnessy. Now motion in left goes Shaughnessy. Handoff right up the middle. No gain on the play. Tony Bufera in on the tackle for North Quincy. The referee for today's game is Abbott Benson. Our umpire is William J. The linesman is Charlie Perry. The field judge, Edgar Stowell. And the clock operator is Jim Shaw. Quincy comes out. Notarangelo in a slot right. And he comes back to the left side. Cuts it up off left tackle. Gets a gain on the play of about 4 yards before Jim McNamara meets him.
Quincy's not going to have an awful lot of success, Roger, going up the middle. They're going to have to try a few plays like the last one, counter plays, trap plays, going straight ahead at North Quincy. With the size disadvantage Quincy has, they're going to have to try a few other things, and they plan to do so.
All right, Quincy comes up. I formation setup. Cullen's the up back. Fake handoff to Notarangelo. And Shaughnessy's going to throw to brother Chris. It's complete across midfield. Down inside the Red Raider territory at the 44.
Terrific pass that time by Billy Shaughnessy to Chris. Chris was pretty well covered. He threaded the needle perfectly just over the defender's reach. Great play, great pass, and a great catch.
18-yard connection. Bill Shaughnessy to brother Chris.
Quincy feels that they can match North Quincy in the speed department, so they're going to do a lot of the sprint action, a lot of sprint outs.
All right, Chris Shaughnessy lines up in a slot left, and the pitch back is to Notarangelo. He hurdles a would-be tackler, gets inside the 40, is Gelsamini, brings him down at about the 38-yard line of North Quincy. Quincy moving the ball well, Jim. Better than we've seen him in the past.
Well, they thought that they could do it again with their speed, utilizing their speed.
Conti wide left. Chris Shaughnessy slot left. I formation set up again behind Billy. Handoff to the fullback, Cullen. McNamara meets him after about a 2-yard gain.
Nice nose for the ball on McNamara that time. He saw the ball and went for it and made a nice stop. Quincy's going to have to go hit the middle on North Quincy occasionally just to keep them honest, but they're not going to have a tremendous amount of success in there.
Brings up a 3rd down and 3 for the Presidents. I formation set up. Chris Shaughnessy slot right. Handoff to Notarangelo. And he saw one hole cut to the outside, met by a host of tacklers. Jim Kennedy was one of the players that leveled him, but there were 3 or 4 over there for North Quincy. And it's going to bring up, I believe, 4th down.
First big play of the game, Roger. This is a real key. Quincy needs this 1st down to sustain the drive and mostly to keep the ball away from North Quincy's offense.
4th and a long 1. Full house backfield lined up behind Billy Shaughnessy. He hands off to brother Chris. He dives forward. I believe he's got the 1st down. Ball down close to the 30-yard line. And it's 1st down, the Quincy Presidents, and they continue their drive. The opening kickoff.
I think on that play there, you got to give the Quincy's interior line some credit there with Rich Reddy, Steve Perfettio, Chris Connors, and Eric Jolly. They did some moving of the North defensive line at that point.
I formation set up behind Billy Shaughnessy. Chris in a slot right, and we've got offsides on the right tackle, Mark Walsh.
That's something, obviously, it's going to be costly to Quincy. Quincy, going into this game, is a little bit of an underdog, and they are going to have to play errorless free, and there's their 1st error. I think that's going to be the key to the ball game. The only weakness North has had is their tendency to fumble. Now, hopefully, Quincy is going to force a few of those fumbles when North has the ball and force North Quincy to make the errors. That's what they're going to have to do, and they certainly can't afford an error like that last offsides.
All right, sets up 1st and 15 for the Presidents. Chris Shaughnessy slot left. Now in a slot right is Notarangelo, and he starts moving to the right. And a pass right over the middle is to Cabezas. It's complete for about 5 yards. John Camo brings him down. And they get back to 5 yards. They were penalized. That'll bring up 2nd and We'll see where they spot the ball. 2nd and a long 10. Now there's a timeout now.
Roger, a couple of things that Quincy has to their advantage is one is Cabezas. He hasn't played yet this year, I think. This is his first game back from ineligibility scholastically, and he is a good ball player.
They call it a gain of 6. 2nd down and 9. I formation again, set up behind Bill Shaughnessy. Mike Notarangelo with the ball, and he's met in the backfield on a super defensive play by Al DeBella of North Quincy.
Good play by DeBella. He beat his man cleanly, and he was on the ball immediately. Exactly what North Quincy anticipated to do on defense. North Quincy's running predominantly their 5-2 defense, which is their strength with their 2 hard-hitting linebackers.
Quincy comes out. Notarangelo, the deep back in an I formation. Cullen in tight to the right. Error. Check that. That was Cabezas. Fake handoff. Shaughnessy back to pass being pursued, and he's brought down for a loss. Brought down on the play by Al DeBella. Super pursuit by DeBella as Shaughnessy couldn't find an open receiver downfield. Way across the field in the left part of the end zone was Brother Chris, but that was a long throw.
2 plays again by DeBella, 2 back-to-back plays, big plays that North Quincy needed to stop the Quincy drive, which was rather impressive when it started. Quincy's now going to have to punt the ball, and North Quincy will have their opportunity to go to work on offense.
4th down, 16. Conti in to punt. Back deep is Joe Bangs and Jim Kennedy. There's the punt. It's coming down to Kennedy at the 10-yard line. He moves to the left. Gets up a couple of blocks, and he's brought down at about the 14-yard line. As Brad Hart brings him down for Quincy. So this will be our first look at the North Quincy Raiders. Let's run down their offense for you.
Mike Gill, halfback, senior.
Jim McNamara, senior, fullback, linebacker.
Jim Kennedy, senior, wide receiver, defensive back.
Mark Wilkins, defensive back, senior.
Jack Bolster, wide receiver, senior.
North Quincy comes out. Hogan is at quarterback. Full house backfield, lined up now in motion. And handoff, big hole up the middle is Brian Ellis.
Kevin Kelly, linebacker, senior. Gelsomini, senior, offensive tackle, defensive end, kicker.
John Camo, defensive end, senior.
Rich DeLuca, defensive tackle, senior.
Tony Befera, offensive and defensive tackle, senior.
Al DeBella, nose tackle, junior.
Stephen Kelly, halfback, defensive back, junior.
Joe Bangs, junior, defensive halfback.
Full house backfield lined up again. Now in motion goes Kelly. Handoff up the middle. McCauley in on the tackle for Quincy.
Knott's balanced attack has the Quincy coaches extremely nervous. They don't know where Knott will attack them, and Knott has the capabilities to do just about anything they want to on offense. So it's basically a guessing game for the Quincy defense.
In motion goes Gill. Pitch back right side to Ellis. Breaks it around the right side. Steps over one tackle and finally brought down by Notarangelo and Jimmy Donahue.
Nice play by Notarangelo. Going to come over from his free safety spot to make that open field tackle. The right side of the North Quincy line did give plenty of room for the running back to get around the corner also. So good offensive blocking by the North Quincy line.
Bolster checks out. Jim Kennedy's into the game. Backs line up split now behind Hogan. Now in motion goes McNamara. And we're going to have an offsides penalty against Quincy.
Quincy in that play, Roger, was gambling with the blitz. They're going to go with the blitz, see if they could cause a turnover or cause a loss for North Quincy. Again, they gambled and they lost. Another mistake for Quincy.
Go ahead, you go that.
I think that's the way Quincy's going to have to play it, though. They're going to have to play it for a gamble here and there, and hopefully that they can get in there and make the turnover for the Presidents.
All right, slot right goes Brian Ellis. Now in motion to the left comes McNamara. Pitch, left side is to Gill. And he's caught from behind by Tucker. And he brings him down for a loss. Nice defensive play by Darren Tucker.
Darren Tucker was prepared for that play, Roger. I think you're going to have to give some credit to the coaches. As soon as that play started to develop, North Quincy back started to move. Darren knew exactly what the play was and came up and made a great play for the loss. Both these teams are well prepared. They know each other very well, know both personally and, of course, on the field.
My full house lined up behind Hogan. Kelly goes in motion. Handoff is to Ellis. He breaks it 40, 45, 50, and knocked out of bounds inside the Quincy President's territory at the 46-yard line. Chris Shaughnessy belts him out of bounds. Big gain on the play of 24 yards for North Quincy. 2:28 to go here, first quarter. There's no score. First possession here for both teams. Quincy marched the ball from their 33 down to about the 25-yard line of North Quincy, where after a penalty and a sack, they were forced to punt, and now North Quincy has taken the punt and moved it upfield. Hogan brings his team up. Kelly in a slot right. A handoff is to Messina. He gets up to the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain on the play of 1. Cabezas in on the tackle for Quincy.
Nice hit by Cabezas on that play. On the previous play, Quincy was stacking on the inside. Again, gambling, hoping to force some action on the inside. North Quincy's blockers got the back the corner, and then that was the big gain for the Raiders. Excellent play by the North Quincy offense. Again, a gamble for the Presidents, which they lost.
Jim Kennedy goes wide right. To the left comes Scott Messina. Backs are split behind Hogan. Fake handoff. He's rolling right, looking to pass. Down over the middle. It is complete to Danny Baker. And he's inside the 30-yard line, down close to the 26-yard line as Joe Conti finally brings him down. And North Quincy's on the move.
Great pass protection that time by the entire North Quincy line. Steve had plenty of time to sit back, find his open receiver. Baker in an excellent crossing pattern, and good pickup on the play by the Raiders.
Hogan to Baker for 18 yards. Back split behind Hogan. Movement along the Quincy line again. And it's going to cost Quincy another 5 yards. Quincy wants to take a timeout here to regroup with 1:24 to go in the first quarter. North Quincy right now moving the ball downfield deep into Quincy territory now as the ball is spotted on the 21-yard line.
Here we are still in the first quarter. Quincy has 3 offside penalties already. Part of that is their design for their day is to force the ball to be aggressive and to go after North Quincy. Right here, however, it has cost them 3 offside penalties, 3 miscues by Quincy, none for North Quincy at this time, and North Quincy is moving the ball well.
While we have the opportunity, let's run down the Quincy President defensive lineup for you. The defensive ends are Austin O'Malley and Dan McCauley. The tackles, Joe Cullen and Mark Walsh. The nose guard, Chris Connor. Walter Rollins sees a lot of action at that position as well. The linebackers, Kevin Cabezas and John Cacciatore, a fine ball player. The corners are Joe Conti and Darren Tucker, and the safeties, Chris Shaughnessy and Mike Notarangelo. North comes up the line of scrimmage. Backs are split. In the slot right is Steve Kelly. Back to pass is Hogan. He's looking left. He's got a man. It's intercepted by Zubkowska. He's at the 30, the 35, and the quarterback, Hogan, brings him down, and he was the only man between a touchdown for Zubkowska was the quarterback, Hogan, on a great open field tackle. Big turnover for Quincy, as there's no doubt North was marching the ball downfield. Zubkowska playing the right linebacker position. The pass was intended for Gill. He just stepped right in front of the pass and ran it upfield. An excellent play and a big turnover for Quincy.
Bad pass that time by Steve Hogan. He shouldn't have thrown the ball. Receiver obviously well covered. Big break for the Presidents.
All right, Cullen's the only back. Notarangelo slot right. He gets the ball on a keeper play back to the left. He opens it up across midfield down to the 49-yard line. And Jim Kennedy in on the tackle.
Quincy, North Quincy's defense right now is going to have to come up with a big play. Quincy definitely has the momentum. The bench is excited. The players are excited. They came up with what they had to do when it got down close to the goal line. They came up with the turnover that they needed to have.
8-yard gain, 2nd down and 2. Full house backfield lineup behind Shaughnessy. And he gets a handoff to Chris Shaughnessy. Camo in on the tackle for North. And they're going to give it a 1st down for Quincy. 23 seconds left here in the 1st quarter. Zubkowska with a key interception for Quincy. Stopped the North Quincy drive. Notarangelo comes out. He's lined up in a slot right. Cabezas lined up as the tight end, and Tucker lined up on the left side. Now Notarangelo goes wide right. Heads upfield. Shaughnessy looking to pass. He's being pursued. He throws. It's incomplete as he was brought down on the play by Al DeBella. DeBella having a super game defensively. He's making life tough for Billy Shaughnessy.
Real good play by Billy Shaughnessy just to get rid of the ball. He had no receivers open. Terrific pass defense by the North Quincy Raiders. All the Quincy receivers very well covered. The pressure on the quarterback. Billy Shaughnessy did the right thing by throwing that ball in the dirt.
That's the end of the 1st quarter of play, and there's no score between the Presidents and North Quincy. Let's run down the 1st quarter statistics for you. For Shaughnessy, he's 2 for 3, 24 yards in total yardage. Shaughnessy, Chris Shaughnessy with 1 reception, and Kevin Cabezas with the other for 6 yards. Notarangelo's run the ball 5 times for 20 yards. Cullen twice for 4 yards, and Chris Shaughnessy twice for 6 yards for a total of 30 yards rushing and 54 yards for Quincy in total offense in the 1st quarter. North, Hogan has passed the ball twice, 1 complete to Baker, and the interception, the other pass, that was to Zubkowska. Ellis has run the ball 4 times for 37 yards. Gill once for a -2 yards. And Scott Messina once for 1 yard for a total of 36 yards in rushing and a total of 54 yards in offense. So it's pretty close. After this play, we'll be going down to the field, and Kevin Cahill Kevin will be giving us reports throughout the day of some of the key ball players. A handoff as Shaughnessy rolls right, looking to pass downfield, and now he tucks it under, and he hits it. He's knocked out of bounds by Mark Wilkins. While we have this opportunity, let's go down to the field in Kevin Cahill.
Okay, thank you very much, Roger. With me is Brian Ellis. Brian, you had a couple of good runs on that last drive. Is that what North's going to try to do, run at him today?
Well, it's going to be a little tough with the rain, but we're going to try not to fumble. And
that interception, though, was a key play. I know Steve Hogan was down close. Why didn't you go with the running plays? You were doing so well.
It's a new play we put in. We thought it would work, but he didn't. He just wasn't there, I guess. The guy read it and caught up with him and got the ball.
Okay, thanks very much. Back up to you, Roger.
All right, Kevin, thank you very much. We missed one play as Billy Shaughnessy rolled right and tried to hit Conti down the right sideline. The ball was overthrown and out of bounds. It'll be 3rd down and 6 now for the Presidents.
Roger, the weather is starting to deteriorate here. We're getting a little bit of a rain, which was one of Quincy's fears. They didn't want to play in a wet field, giving away that size advantage to North Quincy, hoping to utilize their speed. So now that the rain is starting to come, Quincy's fortunes may turn.
All right, it's 4th and 6. Conti back to punt, and he just gets it away. Jim Kennedy nearly put a block on it. Nice kick as it hits on the 20, and it'll die right there. Quincy will give up the ball to North on their own 20-yard line.
Very well played first quarter. Both teams doing what they thought they had to do. North Quincy got control of the ball. They started to move on a nice drive, and they came up with their turnover. The turnover is what hurt North Quincy a number of times when they get down close to the end zone all year long. That's what Quincy was hoping they would do. Quincy came up with a turnover, and right now we still have a tie ball game.
North comes out. Hogan brings his team. To the right comes Brian Ellis. To the left is Jackie Bolster, split wide about 15 yards. And a handoff right up the middle. It is to Jim McNamara, the fullback. He gets a gain on the play of about 4 yards. Chris Connor brings him down. Bolster checks out. And into the game, Vic DeGravio.
Nice hard running that time by McNamara. He's a strong running back, and North Quincy's going to use him considerably during the day.
DeGravio comes to the right. In a slot is Messina. Handoff right up the middle to McNamara. Not much gain on the play, maybe a yard or two. Cabezas brings him down for the Presidents.
North Quincy trying the middle twice that time, twice in a row for modest success. I think what they're trying to do, obviously, is set up a play. So you look for some sort of a reverse action or a trap on this play.
And there seems to be some mix-up on the call. And Hogan calls the timeout. And he'll come over and talk with the brain trust of North Quincy High School.
Roger, at this time I have a couple of announcements from the North Quincy and Quincy High School. One for North Quincy High School class of 1973. They're going to hold their 10th reunion on Friday, November 25th, 1983 at the Florian Hall in Dorchester. Tickets will be sold at the door, and it's $15 per person. That's November 25th at the Florian Hall, the class of 1973, North Quincy High School.
Well, Jim, at this point, it looks as though both teams have been able to move the ball, but the defenses, although they've bended, have not broke and became tough as the teams have got down in the scoring position. Of course, Quincy with that big interception by Zebkowska.
Yeah, both defenses are playing relatively well. It's been a big break at this time. The defenses on Quincy's side is gambling. North Quincy's playing kind of straight up and figure that they can stop Quincy.
Kennedy wide right, Brian Ellis slot right. Now in motion goes McNamara. Hogan fakes left, now throws it back to Kennedy in the right flat, and he's tripped up at the line of scrimmage. Excellent play by Austin O'Malley.
Super play by Austin O'Malley on that. He was originally blocked on the line of scrimmage. He read the screen well. I've been impressed with the way Quincy has so far read North Quincy's offense. They've been trying to do it. North Quincy is throwing men in motion and trying to confuse them, but Quincy is right on their keys and playing very good defense.
Bolster is right back to punt as it's 4th down and 5 for North. Back deep is Chris Shaughnessy and Notarangelo, and he shanks the punt. It hits on the North 40-yard line and out of bounds at about the 42-yard line. So that's going to be a big advantage for the Presidents. That punt only covered 18 yards, Jimmy.
Yeah, Quincy again had a lot of men up in the line of scrimmage. They only had 2 men back. They were trying to block it, and obviously they put pressure on the punter, enough pressure so that he shanked the punt. Again, Quincy is gambling. They're gambling on defense pretty consistently. That was a gamble that paid off for them.
All right, Chris Shaughnessy goes slot right. Tucker line up on the left side, tight end. Now Cabezas goes wide right. There's an I formation set up behind Bill Shaughnessy. He's rolling right, and he gives the handoff to Notarangelo, and he is really met by Bafera, who planted him at the 41-yard line. Bafera, an excellent ball player.
Yeah, a big boy at 220 pounds. Bafera is also a high honor roll student, Roger. And the North Quincy coaches think that he has an excellent chance of going on to a good Division I AA school to play football.
Possibly Ivy League.
Yes.
I formation set up as it's 2nd down and 8. There's the snap. Notarangelo gets the pitch. He dives forward, gains 3-4 yards on the play. Mike Gillen on the tackle, one of the captains for North Quincy. Ball's down to about the 36-yard line. 3rd down and 2.
Good lead blocking that time by Kevin Cabezas to Quincy. Quincy's mixing it up. They're doing exactly what they hope to do on offense. They're moving the ball relatively consistently against North, which they had their questions whether they could do.
Rich Pettinelli checks in. Rich Reddy checks out for Quincy. Cabezas goes wide right. Shaughnessy slot right. Tucker in tight to the left. And the handoff's to Joe Cullen. He breaks it into the secondary. And all the way down inside the 30-yard line to about the 28 as Jim Kennedy finally brings him down. A quick trap right up the middle, and Cullen took advantage of it.
You're exactly right, Roger. That was a quick trap. Steve Perfetio and Rich Pettinelli in the middle of the line for Quincy ran an excellent trap. They caught North Quincy off guard and got a good gain and a first down.
Quincy moving the ball. Shaughnessy, Chris lines up in a slot left. Ends are in tight. I formation, and Billy Shaughnessy rolling right. He's looking long for Cabezas towards the end zone. He goes up in the air, and he almost had it. Is defending on the play. Excellent defensive was Joe Bangs and Mark Wilkins. Wilkins and Cabezas went up for the ball, batted around, and finally hit the turf incomplete.
Wow, what an exciting play that one was, Roger. The ball bounced up there once or twice. Both players extending for the ball. It could have gone either way. Excellent defensive play by North Quincy player again.
Cabezas goes wide right. Shaughnessy slot right. I formation set up behind Billy. Rolling right. Looking downfield to pass. Now he throws, and it is complete to Chris Shaughnessy down close to the 15-yard line. Jim McNamara in on the tackle for North.
Great play by both Billy and Chris Shaughnessy. What happened when that time, North Quincy had the play pretty well defended, Roger. Billy, with his great speed, though, stretched the sprint out pass out further. The original pass routes were broken up. Quincy continued the play out. Billy stretched it out for the completion.
Cabezas lines up in tight to the right. Chris Shaughnessy slot right. Hand off to Notarangelo. He gets across the 15 down close to the 11-yard line. Brought down by Jim Kennedy again. Kennedy, one of those players who knows for the ball. He's in on almost every tackle.
Quincy's offense, who has had trouble over the course of the year, has sputtered at times, is building their confidence now. Their last game against Brookline was Quincy's real first good offensive display. Now Quincy's offense is starting to move the ball, and with each series of, with each first down, they seem to have a little more confidence and have it coming out with a little more zip in the ball.
Quincy wants to take a timeout with 6:20 to go here in the first half. There's no score in the game. The Presidents are marching the ball. Down, they're deep in North Quincy territory. Is the ball spotted now at the, we'll call it the 12-yard line. 2nd and 7.
On the opposite side of the football from Quincy's offense, obviously North Quincy's defense. Now, North's defense all year long has been up against some high-powered offense and has had some very good success stopping them. They've had some real good success. They're a hard-hitting team. I think they're a little bit off guard with Quincy. Quincy's throwing a few different plays. Quincy said that they were going to have some unbalanced lines, which they have not run yet, but some motion plays that they have changed in order to confuse North Quincy's defense, and I think to this point they have done so.
All right, Quincy's talked things over with Coach Bill Maver, and Billy Shaughnessy's back in the huddle to call the play. Cullen's at fullback. Notarangelo the deep half as they line up in an I. Chris Shaughnessy slot left. And in tight end or in tight. Fake handoff. Now Billy Shaughnessy rolling right. He's got a blocker out in front of him. Throws to the end zone and is overthrown. Incomplete. As the pass was intended for Cabezas, and it was overthrown, but there's a flag on the play.
Well, we've got a holding call against Quincy, I'm pretty sure of it. A costly mistake for the Presidents here. They had the opportunity to take it in. Holding call is going to push them way back.
Big penalty right there.
That's it. So far, Quincy's had 4 penalties and costly ones. They can't afford that. They have to be the ones to play mistake-free if they're going to stay in the ball game with North. Certainly, they're in the game at this point, and they've been getting by with a few penalties.
Referee Abbott Benson marking off the yardage.
It is a big one, too.
Ball's all the way back to the 26-yard line. So it'll be 2nd and 22.
Obviously, I think this is going to have to be a passing situation for the Presidents. North Quincy with excellent defensive backs are going to be ready for this.
All right, Quincy comes out. Bill Shaughnessy back to pass. Here comes the rush. He ducks through it, gets through a tremendous rush, and finally brought down on a great open field tackle by Kevin Kelly. Billy Shaughnessy looked like he was dead twice there, finally stepped outside all the trouble, and Kelly came up to make a great open field tackle.
Just the little box.
Talking to the North Quincy coaches prior to the game, one of the big fears they had was Shaughnessy's ability to make a play go on his own. A broken play like that or a run like that. And North Quincy's defense, obviously well aware of it, was there to cover.
All right, Shaughnessy back to pass. He's looking long. Gets away from the pursuit, and he was looking for brother Chris on the left sideline. Wanted a fake pump, and the ball slipped out of his hands. It'll go as an incomplete pass. And North Quincy has held the Presidents here thanks to a big holding penalty.
A big holding penalty as well as excellent pass coverage on the North Quincy part. Both the last prior two plays, Shaughnessy did, because of his own ability, have time to throw the ball. He rolled out both times. He got away from the pressure both times. He did have the opportunity to throw, but North Quincy's defense had them men well covered, and he was unable to, and now North Quincy has the ball.
North comes out, Hogan the quarterback, backs are split behind him. Now in motion goes Messina. A handoff to McNamara. He turns and twists and fights his way up to about the 35-yard line, where Cacciatore brings him down for the Presidents.
Hard running by McNamara at that point. He was met head-on by one of Quincy's defenders, ran over him, threw him, and then John Cacciatore came over to secondary help to make the tackle, but good running by Mr. McNamara. Good gain also.
Back split behind Hogan. Now going in motion is Brian Ellis. Hand off to McNamara. He gets the ball up close to the 40-yard line, where Cacciatore is in on the tackle again.
.429 left to go in the half, Roger, and well-balanced game at this point. Both teams' offense moving the ball pretty well. Both teams' defenses coming up with the big plays and the big stops when they were threatened.
DeGravio checks out. Jackie Bolster's in. Bolster goes wide to the right. Back split. In motion now comes Messina. Fake handoff and a pitch now to Messina, and it is fumbled, and Messina recovers the ball. Hogan came out. It was an option play, and before the defense really got on him, he kind of pitched it out with two hands, and it just wasn't pitched far enough. It hit the ground, and Messina was lucky to cover it.
One of North Quincy's first big mistakes, a fumble like that, which the ball was available out there. Quincy would like to grab one of those.
Hogan back to pass. Looking for, incomplete. As there were two receivers out there, Kennedy and Ellis, and he split both receivers, incomplete. It'll bring up third down.
I think Steve Hogan hurried the pass a little bit that time. The pass pattern hadn't quite set up yet, and the receivers weren't ready to receive the ball.
Bolster wide right. slot right is Brian Ellis. Back split again behind Hogan. Handoff to McNamara. Met in the secondary, but he gets away from it. McNamara breaks it to the outside, the 40, the 45. He's across midfield and tripped up and knocked out of bounds at the 45-yard line. As Chris Shaughnessy brings him down on a great run by McNamara as he was stopped in his backfield, broke the tackle, and made a big gain on the play of 23 yards.
What a great individual effort that time by Jim McNamara. Again, it was a draw play. He was stopped cold in his tracks. He didn't get a chance to take a step, and one of Quincy defenders hit him head on. He refused to go down, broke to the left side for a large gain. Excellent play by Jim McNamara.
Handoff right side, Gill, and he's brought down by Conti on the play across the 40-yard line down to about the 37.
Again, what a big play by Jim McNamara. North Quincy facing a tough situation. Went with the draw play. Looked like he was stopped for another loss. Quincy going to get the ball in decent field position. McNamara with a great individual effort. Broke that tackle and got the large gain to the left. Big play by North Quincy.
With that 25-yard gain now in 5 carries, McNamara's picked up 40 yards. Hogan brings his team up. In motion goes Ellis. Handoff right up the middle to Gill. A little bit of daylight there, finally brought down by Joe Conti and Paul Kenny. Now North moving the ball as we're down to 2 minutes and 27 seconds here to go in the first half.
Nice trap blocking by the North Quincy interior line that time. Excellent blocking all the way across the line for large hole.
Ryan Gibbons lines up wide left, backs are split, fake handoff, Hogan rolling left. He's got a lot of real estate out there. He's going to tuck it in and run. Misses a couple of tackles and finally brought down by Cacciatore, but a big gain on the play by Hogan as he rolled left, and there was nothing but green open spaces out there. A gain on the play.
North Quincy has their offense rolling now. They're on track. They're rolling. They're doing just about everything they want to do at this point after that big play by McNamara. Now, if they can stay mistake-free at this point, they should be able to bring it in. This is where North Quincy has had the tendency in the previous games in the season to make a fumble, to make the big mistake, and that's what Quincy's going to need, obviously, to stop them.
14-yard pickup. 2 minutes left to go here in the first half. Ball spotted on the 18-yard line. You're right down inside the North Quincy huddle and the Brain Trust. Coach Ken McPhee talking with his captains and quarterback.
Another quick note here, Roger. The Quincy Symphony Orchestra will perform at North Quincy High School on Friday, December 2nd at 8 p.m.
North comes out. Bolster lines up in tight to the right. Delaware T lined up behind Hogan. In motion goes Kelly, and it's a pitch to the right side. Coming down is Ellis, and he dives forward. Nice move. There's a flag on the play. Cacciatore and Tucker in on the tackle for the Presidents.
I think we got a big penalty here on North Quincy. Again, Quincy gambled on defense. They forced the pitch prematurely, threw off the timing of the play, and I think that's something that had something to do with, obviously, with the penalty that North Quincy is going to have against them.
Ironically enough, Quincy marched the ball downfield, got a big penalty. It took them out of a scoring drive, and now North moves the ball deep into Quincy territory, and they get a big 15-yard penalty clipping against North Quincy.
Quincy's defense, again, not realizing they're going to have to gamble on that play. The gamble paid off.
1:41. The clock's counting. And now we shift into a shotgun as Hogan barks the signals. He's looking, and the ball nearly intercepted by Cabezas as the pass was intended for Jackie Bolster. Hogan fired the ball in there. Cabezas couldn't quite hang on to it.
Good defense by Kavizis, right in exactly the right spot, exactly the right time. Quincy's defense rising to the occasion at this point.
Second down, 25 for North Quincy. We move into a shotgun formation again. Bolsters to the right, and it's a handoff to Gill. And he's knocked and tripped up in the backfield as Austin O'Malley came in to botch things up. Excellent play by Austin O'Malley, a loss on the play. 5-yard loss, that'll bring up third down and 30.
These players are fired up for the Presidents here. Excellent play by O'Malley. I think that's his second or third of the game. Reading the North Quincy offense again extremely well. Obviously, these players on Quincy, both sides are well coached, but knowing exactly how the play was developing it and being on the spot.
Kenny and Tucker check into the game for Quincy on defense. Messina checks in for North, and Mike Gill comes out. Brian Gibbons is in. Dan Baker's out. Bolster comes to the right. So does Kennedy. Wide left is Vic DeGravio. Only one back. McNamara behind Hogan. Back to pass is Hogan. He's looking long down the right sidelines, intended for Kennedy. It's going to be picked up by Chris Shaughnessy at the 5-yard line. He gets away from would-be tackler, cutting it up the right side, and he's knocked down on the play at about the 20-25-yard line. As Scott Messina brings him down. Another big turnover as Quincy intercepts the ball.
What a hit by Messina. He did not like the fact that ball was intercepted, and he was punishing the ball carrier. What a hit by Messina on that. Quincy, again, a big interception down at the goal line. North Quincy, again, having the difficulty they've had in the past, the turnover when they get close to the goal line.
Chris Shaughnessy, a 20-yard return after the interception on the 5. So the Presidents come out. Billy Shaughnessy has his team set up. Slot right is Mike Notarangelo. One back behind Billy Shaughnessy, and it's a comebacker to the right side to Chris Shaughnessy. He's got one blocker out in front of him, breaks into the secondary, and is knocked out of bounds as Kelly knocked him out of bounds. Ball will be spotted up close to the 30-yard line.
Chris Shaughnessy showing some good speed in the last two plays, both on the interception and on that run. He's a fired up ball player, and he's showing it now.
Ball's on the 32-yard line. Gain of 5, 2nd and 5. Chris Shaughnessy lines up in the slot left. One back behind Bill Shaughnessy. And that's Cullen. He gets the ball, dives forward for about a 2 or 3 yard gain. In there to trip him up is Tony Befera.
Befera made the tackle, but DeLuca just penetrated to the line there very, very well, Roger. Took away the interference, and they've got a tough interior line there for North Quincy.
Only 40 seconds to go here in the first half, so barring some miracle, we're probably going to have a scoreless half here in this Thanksgiving Day Classic. Chris Shaughnessy lines up slot left, I formation set up behind Billy. Handoff right up the middle to Notarangelo. Breaks it into the secondary, and he only had one more man to beat. That man, number 21, Mike Gill, brings him down after Notarangelo picks up a big gain on the play of 15 yards. And Quincy takes a timeout with 24 seconds showing on the clock. The ball spotted on the Quincy 48-yard line.
What a confidence builder for the Presidents, whose offense has been sputtering to date in previous games. Their offense is moving the ball against this highly regarded North Quincy defense. It's got to be a feather in the cap for the Presidents. It's got to be a real confidence builder for them to know that they can move the ball as successfully as they have. I have to think that North Quincy's defense is a little bit surprised. They have a lot of confidence in themselves. They're a well-touted defense. They're a hard-hitting defense, and they know that they are as good, and they know they are one of the better defenses in the Suburban League. And I think they're a little bit surprised that Quincy is moving the ball on them as well as they have been.
Of course, both bands will be performing at halftime. And we'll be bringing you most of that action. Bill Shaughnessy back to pass. He's looking long. And he's thrown up to the left side trying to hit brother Chris, and it is incomplete. Excellent effort. Well defended by Jim Kennedy.
Again, excellent defense by the Raiders. The pass was pretty close to on the money, too. The Presidents of Gambling would love to go in for a score here at the half and go in with an advantage. It's going to be tough to score from 52 yards away, though, against this North Quincy defense.
Except for the penalties, Quincy has played an error-free first half. No turnovers. Of course, North, 2 turnovers, both interceptions. 1 fumble that they recovered themselves. Back split behind Billy Shaughnessy. Handoff right up the middle to Notarangelo. Kevin Kelly in on the tackle. Only 5 seconds to go, first half, and Quincy calls the timeout.
Quincy's going to use every opportunity they possibly have to get the score on the board at this time. The last time with Notarangelo's speed, they're hoping to catch North Quincy sleeping a little bit in the interior line and anticipating a pass and break Notarangelo free. North's defense, though. Yeah, I know it. North Quincy's defense, however, was well covered on the field and stopped Quincy. Excellent first half, though, Roger. I've been very impressed with both teams.
It's been a good half. Surprisingly, no score wouldn't necessarily indicate that, but both teams have been able to move the ball up and down the field.
And both defenses have been able to stop them when it counted.
All right, Cullen and Notarangelo were in the backfield. Handoff right up the middle. Notarangelo, not much gain on the play, 4 or 5 yards, brought down on the play by Mike Berry, and that's the end of the first half of play. And the score, the North Quincy Red Raiders 0, the Quincy Presidents 0. Let's run down the statistics for you as the bands march onto the field to prepare for your halftime entertainment. For North Quincy, Hogan is 2 for 5 with 2 interceptions, a total of 18 yards in completions. Ellis has carried the ball 4 times for 37 yards. Gill once for 4 yards. Masita once for 1 yard. McNamara 5 times, 40 yards. And Hogan carried the ball twice for a total of 6 yards.
Much, Roger. With me is defensive coordinator for North Quincy, Jack Raymer. Jack, you did a lot of things in that first half defensively. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to contain that offense for Quincy?
Well, we're trying to contain their quarterback from getting to the outside. We're doing a pretty good job. We're trying to put some more pressure on him from the inside. But that's our main thing. We want to contain both quarterbacks because they're running quarterbacks.
What do you think Quincy's going to try to do in the second half? They're going to try to run at you, screen passes, what?
I think you'll see some screens, but I think they're going to have to throw the ball to beat us. I really do, and we're ready for that.
Are you happy with what you've done defensively so far?
Yeah, well, they haven't scored, so we're happy. Would like to maybe get an interception or something to give the offense some good field position. We've had bad field position, so hopefully we'll be able to improve on that.
Okay, thanks very much. Jack Raymer, the defensive coordinator for North Quincy. Back to you, Roger.
Thank you very much, Kevin. The captains have met at the center of the field, and North Quincy will be receiving the ball to start the second half here at Quincy's Veterans Stadium. Don't forget this Wednesday night, highlights of this ball game here with both coaches, Bill Maver and Ken McPhee, and of course that show hosted by WJDA's Charlie Ross. That's next Wednesday night on Cablevision Television. What kind of play do you look for in this situation, Jim?
I think you're going to see Billy Shaughnessy rolling out to either the left or the right. He has the option. If there's a man open, he can throw it. If there isn't, he has the speed and the ability to run the ball.
All right, here we go. Darren Tucker goes to the right. Cabezas in tight to the left. Chris Shaughnessy slot left. I formation set up behind Billy. It's a pitch back to Notarangelo, and he's dumped in the backfield. A great defensive play by Mike Gill, one of the captains of North Quincy. And the Red Raiders will take over on downs. A great defensive play, 2 of them in a row by Kelly and Gill of North Quincy.
Great defense again. Gill saw the play developing. He knew exactly what to do. He had his reads on key, and he came up and made a super hit. Great play, great stand by North Quincy's defense.
All right, North comes up to the line of scrimmage. Back split behind Hogan. Handoff is to Gill, and he's upended by Joe Conti.
Nice tackle by Joe Conti. You have to give Austin O'Malley a little bit of credit on that play. He took out 3 of the leading blockers so that the ball carrier was all by himself going around the corner, and Conti could make the play.
Into this play. We'll talk about what the defense is doing, all right? Okay. And we'll just talk about that hard in your life.
Well, I don't remember it.
But did you hit him with your bad arm?
Yeah,
John Cacciatore.
We'll hang here. Hang on. It's going to come in. Okay, Roger, we're here with Kevin Kelly, who made that big hit on 3rd and 4. Kevin, I don't think you've ever hit anybody that hard.
Well, I've never hit Notre Angelo that high. I've been waiting since I was a sophomore to get him. He's small, but he's a fine back. I've been waiting a long time.
That had to be your biggest defensive series right down there with Quincy.
Well, if I can remember it, I'll tell you about it. I don't remember it.
Okay, Roger, we'll go back to you for the action.
Thank you very much, Kevin. North Quincy comes out. Wide to the right is Kennedy. And all kinds of movement this time. We'll see if North jumped or if Quincy jumped the gun. 7:46 left here in the game. No score still. Both teams have been able to move the ball, but the defenses have not let them get in the end zone. 5 yards against North. Kennedy comes out. Jackie Bolster into the game.
What a battle we're seeing, Roger, against 2 well-prepared, hard-nosed, tough defenses.
Kelly now. Slot right. Hogan back to pass. Dumps it to the left side. It is complete. And Bolster, there's a fumble on the play. No, they're going to call it an incomplete pass. Oh, I wish we had instant replay on that one. The play was like a hook and lateral as it was dumped in the middle of Bolster, and he was supposed to hit the back coming around, which I think was Steve Kelly, and before Bolster could do it, he was hit, and the ball went loose, but the official called it an incomplete pass, saying they did not have control of it.
I think that was a break for North Quincy on that play. Quincy could have been in an excellent position if that were in fact a fumble.
4th and 16, Bolster's into punt. Notre Angelo and Chris Shaughnessy back deep. High snap, it's handled. Oh, nearly blocked as Cabezas came in. Notre Angelo picks it up in the midfield. Trying to run right, he does. Gets across one wall at the 45, and there he's planted at the 44-yard line by Bobby Flynn.
Nice coverage on that. It looked like Notre Angelo had some room, and Flynn coming down, covering his lane, made a nice tackle.
37-yard punt for Bolster, and Quincy will have the ball with 7 minutes, 13 seconds remaining. Conti left, Shaughnessy left.
Quincy, unbalanced line.
Pitch, left side, Notre Angelo tucks it inside the tackle. He gets a block. He's at the 45, the 30, the 35, the 30, and knocked out of bounds inside the 25-yard line. Knocked out by Jimmy Kennedy. A great run and a great call by the Presidents. 27-yard pickup by Notre Angelo in Quincy, deep into North territory.
Quincy was unbalanced to the left that time. Prior to the game, the coach had told us that he may be running a few trick plays, unbalancing to the left, trying to get North Quincy by surprise. Obviously, they did it on that play.
Notre Angelo now 98 yards unofficially. All right, Quincy lines power right now to the right side as Conti, Shaughnessy, handoff right up the middle. Joe Cullen. He gains about 5 yards, not quite that much, 3-4 yards on the play. Ball spotted close to the 15-yard line. DeLuca in on the tackle for North.
Just seconds ago, North Quincy's defense was in the same situation. They came up with a couple of blitzes, they gambled, and they came up with some big plays. They're going to have to do the same thing here.
But again, those plays were set up by the 5-yard penalty by Quincy. So if they can stay out of the penalty trouble, it'd be interesting. Power left now. Tucker, Notarangelo, and Shaughnessy all left. Billy Shaughnessy rolls left. He's in trouble. No room to work. And he's knocked out of bounds. Gelsomini knocked him out of bounds. And there just really wasn't much room to work. That power left move on the left side is, by the time Shaughnessy rolled out, he was out of bounds.
Yeah, Shaughnessy didn't have the room again to use the speed that he has, and it has been deadly.
Loss on the play, 3rd and 14 for the Presidents. Ball spotted on the 23. Now wide right, Conti and Chris Shaughnessy. And a handoff to Notarangelo. Quick opener, gets into the secondary, and he's still fighting forward. Kennedy finally brings him down, as he was also met in there originally by Nick Gelsomini.
What a tough run by 135, 145-pound halfback for the 4 or 5 North Quincy players. Hit him, his legs didn't stop, he just kept going. North Quincy has held him to this point. It's 4th down and 10. Big play here for the Presidents.
And we're going to go for a field goal. Conti's checked into the game. So we got it. The ball spotted on the 18-yard line. Ball will be placed on the 25. This is a 35-yard field goal by Joe Conti. Chris Shaughnessy's the holder. This could be the game. It's up, and it is going to be wide left. No good. North Quincy is held again. .5:30 remaining in the game. Quincy went for the field goal, and it was short and to the left.
Credit North Quincy's defense again. Both defensive teams have been playing superb football. Here again, North Quincy, 2 possessions in a row with their backs against the wall have come up to stop the Presidents.
And with all due respect, the offenses have played well. They just haven't been able to get the ball in the end zone. North comes up. Hogan, back split behind him. In motion goes Messina. Hand off to McNamara. Good gain on the play. Brought down by Conti. Ten-yard pickup by McNamara. First down for North.
Quincy was blitzing to the right side that time. North Quincy ran a trap to the left. Picked up the yardage that they needed for the first down.
DeGravio checks into the game. Bolsters out. Slot right is Kelly. In tight to the right is Gibbons. In motion goes Messina. Handoff, McNamara. Breaks a couple of tackles. Dives forward across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Chris Connor in on the tackle for Quincy. Another 10-yard pickup by McNamara, and he's running hard. Jimmy, he moves the ball well from arm to arm to avoid where the side that he's going to be hit, and still gains, and he has an uncanny ability to be able to hurdle would-be tacklers.
Exactly. He moved the ball that time while he was in the process of being hit and held, so that if another tackler came up, they wouldn't jar the ball loose. Tough runner.
Clock counting down. We're moving down to 4.5 minutes left in the game. Back split behind Hogan. In motion goes Messina. Hogan wants the roll. He can't. He's stopped. And Cabezas in on the tackle for the sack. And Coach Maver raved about Cabezas in our talks with him earlier in the week. He honestly thinks this guy could have made the difference in 3 ball games. Quincy could have won if Cabezas would have been eligible the whole season. That's quite a tribute to one ball player.
Quincy's defense guessed right that time. They had the blitz going directly into the North Quincy's flow of the action for the big loss. It's getting to be a guessing game at this point, with Quincy blitzing to one side and North trying to guess and run to the other.
2nd and 18. Kennedy wide right. Now going in motion. Messina. Pitch out now is to Kelly. He breaks it down the left sideline and he hurdles a tackler and finally brought down in there by Notarangelo. Kelly with an excellent gain is on the pitch out. Got it around the corner and a pickup on the play of 13 yards. It'll bring up a 3rd and 5. It'll be interesting if Coach McPhee is thinking 2 plays here to get the first down.
With 3:22 left in the game, I think that's a possibility. Right now, they want to get the 5 yards for the first down.
Back to pass is Hogan, being pursued, finally gets it away, and it is intercepted. But was he in play? He was in play. Cacciatore on the deflection gets the interception for the Quincy Presidents and stops the Red Raiders once again. We've said it all day long. The defenses have rose to the occasion on every single scoring drive.
Great defense by Quincy that time. They had to play well diagnosed. They had to play well covered. I think the North Quincy quarterback would have been well advised to throw the ball away.
Chris Shaughnessy wide right. Cabezas in tight to the right. Tucker's in tight to the left. Backs in an I formation. Set up behind Billy Shaughnessy. Pitch out right side, Notarangelo trying to go around the right side. Tucks inside, breaks it upfield across the 45 down to the 40. And Kevin Kelly brings him down there along with Jimmy Kennedy. Gain on the play, 8 yards, 2nd and 2 for Quincy.
Talking to Coach Mava before the game, he said that he did have a few plays tucked up their sleeves that they may pull if they had to get a score.
Mike Notarangelo, 110 yards and 23 carries, handoff to Cullen up the middle. He breaks it for about 4 or 5 yards. It'll be another first down. Quincy moving again. Kevin Kelly brought him down. Clock counting down with 2:21 showing on the clock.
Quincy moving the ball as well as they are right now in their standard offense. I don't think it's necessary at this point, certainly, for them to...
Tucker in tight to the left. Chris Shaughnessy slot left. Handoff. Cullen. Down to about the 25-yard line. Met there basically by the whole front line. DeLuca, DeBella, and Bufera.
You got to give some real credit to the Quincy offensive line at this point. Steve Buffettio, Mike Walsh, Pat Calabro, Rich Reddy, Rich Pettinelli. Those guys have been doing an awesome job in here. And this was Quincy's weakness going into the game, but they certainly have proved differently in this game.
3rd and 1. They're out measuring for the first down. And I want to tell you, they're short. No, they're not short. Made it literally by the nose of the ball. And the Quincy drive continues.
1:21 left, Roger. I think the clock is starting to be a factor. Quincy's going to have to start putting the ball in the air very shortly.
And the clock is running now, down to 1:15. And these running plays take a lot of time. Chris Shaughnessy, slot left, ends are in tight, I formation. And Billy Shaughnessy wants to pass, looks right. He's looking towards the end zone, throws for Cabezas down in the right corner. He overthrows him. He tried to hit him on about the 1 or the 2 yard line. It was just thrown a little long. Defending on the play was Steve Kelly, but there's a flag on the play.
We have a real unnecessary penalty coming up against the Presidents on this one, Roger.
An eligible receiver downfield. Big 5 yards. And again, the penalties haunt Quincy when they get down into North Raider territory.
Well, North has been here 3 or 4 times already this half before, and they have held.
10 penalties so far in the afternoon, or was fast approaching the afternoon for Quincy. Conti goes wide right, Shaughnessy slot right, backs her an eye. Handoff is to Notarangelo, tries to go off the off-tackle play, and it's snuffed out. Mark Walsh, check that. Tony Bufera brings him down. Little gain on the play. And Quincy takes the time with only 49 seconds remaining. North took the timeout. That's... Maybe Coach McPhee feels he can get the ball back here, and I think you have to say it's a victory for Quincy if it ends up in a tie game. North, obviously the larger team, a little better record. Coach McPhee's brought his team along very well, and they came rolling into this ball game.
They certainly did. I don't know if I'd give Quincy a victory, certainly a moral victory, because they did understand that they were an underdog coming in. But really, the way North Quincy's defense has held the last 3 or 4 possessions, and if in fact they hold this possession, you have to give those guys an awful lot of credit. And I say North Quincy defense certainly ought to be proud and consider it a victory for themselves also.
Well, it's 3rd down and 13. 49 seconds left here in the 1983 Thanksgiving Day Classic between these two fine schools. Chris Shaughnessy goes slot right. Cabezas in tight to the right. Tucker's in tight to the left. Fake handoff. Billy Shaughnessy looking right. He's going to tuck it in and try and run for it. He's at the 25, knocked out of bounds at about the 15-yard line. And there he's brought down on the play by Mike Gill. And I think Shaughnessy might have just been trying to get the ball close enough for Conti to get another shot.
Excellent heads-up play by Billy Shaughnessy. Again, his receivers were well covered. If he did throw the ball, he was going to have to throw the ball on the run, which is a very difficult thing to do. He headed it upfield, and we have a big 4th down play right here.
It's 4th and 3. Conti wide to the right. Shaughnessy slot right. Only one back. That's Notarangelo. Pitches it out to Notarangelo. He cuts back against the green, and he gets close to the 20-yard line, and then he's met by a wall. I don't know if he made it.
Oh, what a play. Close.
There's going to be a timeout. We're going to have a measurement. Hang on, folks. 34 seconds left.
It all depends on the spot of the ball at this time, Roger. Depending on where the officials put it, is going to be the mark.
Ball spotted just over the 15-yard line.
What a measurement.
North Quincy's held. By a half a yard. Mike Notarangelo fell short of the 1st down.
Great defense by North Quincy. Excellent football game all the way through.
North Quincy comes out. Hogan brings his team up. Kelly's wide right now. Bolster goes wide right. Shotgun formation. Hogan back to pass. Being pursued by O'Malley. Hogan looking down. Now Cullen tries to trip him up and he's out of bounds. Hogan runs out of bounds. Connor's over there also. And they'll spot the ball at about the 18, 19-yard line.
What a terrifically balanced team, Roger. Both sides, the seniors, the players on both sides ought to feel immensely proud.
North Quincy calls a timeout.
So many excellent individual plays and performances.
Shaughnessy 3 for 9 on the day, 37 yards. Hogan is 3 for 8 for 21 yards. The big runner for North Quincy's been McNamara, 12 carries, 70 yards. And for Quincy, it's been Mike Notarangelo, 26 carries, 122 yards. Kennedy checks into the game. Bolster comes out for North. Hogan back to the huddle to call the play from Coach McPhee. Kennedy wide right, as is Kelly. Hogan lines up behind the center. Now in motion goes Messina, throwing a pass down the right side, complete to Kennedy, and he's out of bounds. A nice down and out as the ball is brought up to about the 38-yard line. The clock stops with 21 seconds.
Beautifully executed play by the Red Raiders that time. Nice quick down and out. They picked up a quick 15 yards. Well executed.
Officially 19 yards on the pickup, Jimmy. That could be the longest play from scrimmage for North on the day. Ball spotted on the 37-yard line. Only backs are split behind Hogan. Bolster now lines up in the right. And the handoff to McNamara. He's leveled in the backfield by Chris Connor, who smelled out the play. Another super defensive play by another one of these defensive unit players. Excellent. 17 seconds left now in the ball game.
I don't think there's a player on either defense that at one time or another during the game hasn't come up with a big play.
Another timeout on the field.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Quincy Firefighters Association will award a trophy to each school, which will be awarded at their respective awards banquets later in the year.
Assuming that this game is going to end up in a tie, Roger, which I think it will with 17 seconds to go, I'd just like to congratulate all the participants, especially the seniors, in such fine performances on defense especially. So many individual players making individual plays, putting it all together to make a good team play.
Kennedy and Kelly line up to the right. Now in motion goes Messina. Back to passes Hogan. He's looking for Kennedy. Can't find him. Now steps up inside. Hogan wants to run it to the left. He's being pursued by Quincy Presidents Kenny. And Cullen bring him down for a loss with 5 seconds showing on the clock.
Good coverage by the Presidents at that point. Obviously, they're looking for the long, realizing North Quincy is going to go for the long pass, go for the long bomb. They have their defensive backs way back in good pass protection. I think if North Quincy had thrown the ball in that instant, there would have been a good opportunity for Quincy interception.
This will probably be the final play of the 1983 Thanksgiving Day game. Both teams played their hearts out. Billy Shaughnessy is in the game now, and he's dropped back about 50 yards, so you can see what he's anticipating. Kennedy and Bolster wide to the right. Hogan in a shotgun.
Quincy with a one-man rush.
There's a snap, and he lines it up, and it is incomplete. There's no time showing on the clock.
Penalty on the flag.
There is a penalty, so hang on.
Now.
Well, obviously the penalty was against North Quincy, so that'll end the ball game. And the final score here at Quincy Veteran Stadium on this Thanksgiving morning, North Quincy and Quincy fight to a 0-0 duel. Most games you would probably think quite boring as a shutout would occur, but both teams were able to move the ball up and down the field. But when it came down to pay territory, the defenses came up with play after play, time and time again. Excellent defensive efforts by both squads as they now are at the 50-yard line, shaking hands after banging heads for the last 2.5 hours. And this a sad occasion for the seniors as it's their final moment playing for their respective schools.
I want Mike Notaranzo, number 20 for the Blues.
One thing I'm happy about, Roger, is the fact that playing in their final game, the seniors always want to do something during the game that they can remember. And in this case, I think just about every senior came up with a good play somewhere along the game. Just tremendous defensive plays, some excellent offensive runs. Excellent game all the way around, well balanced and great.
I'm going to talk with Notarangelo.
All right, we'll be going down to the field and Kevin Kelly momentarily as he'll be talking to a couple of the ball players. But while we have this opportunity, let's run down the statistics for you as compiled by Paul Newton. Hogan, 4 passes. 10 passes, 4 completions, 3 interceptions for a total of 40 yards. Baker, Kennedy, Bolster. Kennedy actually had 2 receptions. And In the rushing department, Ellis, 4 carries, 37 yards. Gill, 6 carries, 13 yards. Messina, 2 carries and 1 yard. McNamara, 13 carries, 67 yards. And Hogan, 5 carries, 18 yards, for a total on the North Quincy side of 179 yards on offense. Kevin Kelly is down on the field right now with 2 of the outstanding players for both clubs, Mike Notarangelo for Quincy and Jim Kennedy for North Quincy. So let's go down to the field and Kevin Cahill.
With Mike Notarangelo from Quincy and Jimmy Kennedy from North Quincy. These 2 young men played a fine game, a 0-0 tie. And first, Mike, you don't lose, you don't win, but what the heck do? You wait till next year. Of course, you're a senior, you won't, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, I don't know. We played tough. You know, everyone expected us to get blown out. You know, they said in the paint it was going to be a breeze, but you know, we made something out of it anyways, and I'm glad about that at least.
You ran well all day. You got stuck hard there by Kevin Kelly on that 3rd and 4 play, but it looked like all the yards that you gained were tough yards.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt good out there. The footing wasn't bad. You know, it was pretty good.
Okay, and for Jimmy Kennedy, Jim, you played defense, you played some offense, and it was gritty out there. You can tell you guys are covered with mud. You had a tough game.
Well, they hit a lot harder than we expected them to, and we knew they were a good team, but I think our own mistakes killed us.
On the offensive side, I guess it was the turnovers. You didn't get any turnovers, but you gave up the interceptions and the fumbles. I know that hurts, Steve Hogan and the rest of the offense, but the defense seemed to rise to the occasion.
Yeah, we knew we had a good defense all year, but we sort of thought our offense was starting to gel, and we figured it would come alive today, but I got to give credit to Quincy's defense. They played hard.
Tell me one thing here, Mike. How deep is this rivalry? You've been at Quincy 3 years. You've seen these kids last year, and this year you played baseball with some of the North kids, I know. So how deep is the rivalry? Is it really tough?
Yeah, I think it's really tough. You know, it's like we're out there going to kill each other, but you know, we're really friends off the field and stuff. So.
You agree with that, Jim?
Yeah, I think it's been a tough rivalry for this grade anyway. Ever since the sophomores, we had a tough sophomore game, and it's been carried over till now.
Okay, Mike Notarangelo and Jim Kennedy in a fine game, a 0-0 game, but, well, no winners, no losers. I guess everybody just goes home and eats turkey. So back to you, Roger.
Thank you very much, Kevin. And if there has to be 2 standouts in the ball game, certainly on defense, Jim Kennedy was everywhere. And on offense, Mike Notarangelo is, we have him for 26 carries, 122 yards rushing. A tremendous day for Mike Notarangelo. Elsewhere in the rushing department, Cullen, 11 carries, 41 yards. Shaughnessy, 3 carries, 12 yards. That's Chris Shaughnessy. Bill Shaughnessy carried the ball 3 times for 17 yards, and a total of 192 yards rushing for Quincy. In the passing department, Billy was 3 for 9, 37 yards. Those completions, 2 to brother Chris and 1 to Cabezas. And a total of 227 yards on offense for the Quincy Ball Club. And what was an outstanding ball game this morning. And we'll be back momentarily with Coach Bill Maver and, of course, Coach Ken McPhee, as both coaches have to be extremely proud of the efforts put out by the ball clubs. I know Coach Maver's raved about his defense all year long. A little frustrating at times that he couldn't get the offense on track, but nothing this morning because that offense moved the ball up and down the field. In fact, moved it more than what North Quincy did, who had a much more heralded offense, a total of 229 yards. Jimmy, your thoughts on this morning's Thanksgiving Day Classic?
Well, I think it was probably Quincy's finest performance of the year. Very impressed with the way Quincy improved all year long. Coach Maver, his first year coaching, first year as head coach. Quincy started off a little bit weak at the beginning of the year. They've come along steady and they've improved so that they were able to tie a very fine and a very powerful North Quincy team. Both teams are very respectable in the Suburban League, and I'm kind of happy, Roger, that it ended up in the tie that it did, because both teams deservedly did deserve a win, and I would have hated to see neither one of them lose.
Well, North, primarily a senior-oriented ball club, but a great tradition, and I'm sure they'll be back next year with a fine ball club behind Coach McPhee. But Quincy has to be feel good for the fact that they're playing a lot of juniors, and of course Walter Rollins is only a sophomore.
Yeah, exactly. Again, this is Quincy's first year with Billy as his head coach. Quincy definitely had a big rebuilding year. They had no starters back from last year's team, so it was totally a rebuilding year for them, and they did rebuild. Over the year, they just constantly improved until finally today, which had to be a happy tie, if you can have such a thing as a happy tie and a well-deserved tie for the Quincy Presidents. The individual performances, again, on both teams was immense. Key plays on the defense and on the offense by individuals made this totally a team effort on both sides, and an excellent game to spectate. And I'm sure there's a lot of enjoyable fans leaving the stadium now, Roger, that saw a real good football game.
Well, as we commented during the halftime, Jim, an excellent crowd on hand, but not quite as full as many of the times you've seen it. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've seen the stadium much fuller in other years, with Quincy having a losing record going into this game, and North Quincy a 6-3 or 6-4, I think it was, 5-4. Neither one of them having a real good year. I think the participation, as well as the fact that they did predict rain, kept a few people home. The crowd that was on hand certainly was boisterous and enjoyed the game, and it's good to see this kind of spirit and this kind of turnout at any game.
We're standing by for both coaches, Ken McPhee and Bill Maver, who will be coming onto the field in a few moments, and we'll be having a post-game interview with them. Of course, Coach McPhee was quoted as saying he wanted to have a winning season this year, and he needed a victory here, but the tie accomplishes the same thing. 5-4 is a winning season.
Yeah, exactly. And North Quincy had an excellent team all year. They played excellent, good football all year. Their defense was immense all year. Their offense was well balanced. They had the same trouble today that they've had all season long, which is basically when they got close to the goal line, they had a few turnovers. In part, that's because of the offense which they run. But again, North Quincy had a super team all year, played against a tough suburban league opponents and played them all well. I think both teams improved over the year and can certainly consider today a success and their season a success.
All right, the final score here again was North Quincy 0 and Quincy 0. I want to thank Kevin Cahill for his reports down on the field, and of course Jim Rendell for his analysis of the ball game. Paul Newton handled the statistics for us, and Dave Ferris and Richard Homan spotting, and Roger Homan, our producer, in the booth. I'm Roger Homan, and we'll be going back down on the field with Kevin Cahill momentarily. The final score here once again was Quincy 0, North Quincy 0.